I was part of forming just a small group in Draper after the Tech thing. I went down to Novus. Well, that was huge. We had like 400 people who showed up. And that was kind of the first big event that took place with Tea Party people starting to organize. Gather around our kitchen tables with our families and with friends and start dealing with some of these issues and figuring out ways that we're going to be able to band together to try to stop them. And this happened everywhere. It happened, there were probably, my estimation is probably about 70 or so of these little groups that formed all over the state of Utah. And there were 9-12 groups and various names. From that, people started over the course of the summer, started learning. Most of the groups sat down and went through the 5,000-year leap and other kinds of things like that to get themselves educated. Most of the people that got involved that are involved now are people that had never done anything politically. You know, it's just moms and dads. Over the course of the summer, we started organizing some rallies. David Kirkham did the first one. He was a regular guy, had never done anything in politics at all. Just got on the phone and scheduled the Capitol. We had the first rally. As we gradually started doing rallies, it became apparent that we wanted to try to organize. And that's where I learned something about conservatives that I want to impart to you guys, because you're the ones that are going to have to carry this on. Conservatives do not know how to organize. It's not part of them. None of you, it's probably not part of any of you. And what we found from the very beginning, we tried to pull together a coalition of all the conservative groups in Utah. And so we met out at a place where it was big enough to hold us, and we probably had 50 individual people, all representing organizations in Utah that kind of had like-minded ideas. And it took 2 solid meetings, 2 hours apiece, just to introduce each other. And you think about that. Why would that happen? Well, every single one of those people are leaders. Every one of them either have their own business or successful in some way. They are the people that over the years stood up and been a driving force in organizations, and they all have stories to tell. And man, you put them together and you've got a bundle of egos that can explode a building. Good things happened when that came together, but it never really got together. And what I learned from that is that conservatives are real good at standing on each other's shoulders and fighting to get to the top, but that's the way it works. And that's good and it's bad. It's bad because we can't organize very well like Democrats can. But it's good because we get ahead and we move things ahead and we take charge and we get things done. So we just needed to figure out a way to do that. We still do, because we got some real challenges coming towards us. Right now, as we speak, there are people in this state that are planning to shut down the Tea Party, to shut down conservative young people like you, to silence them and to keep the same people in office that have always been there doing the same old things, being controlled by big money, etc. So you guys are going to be the ones that are going to have to step up and fight through that. We know we can fight through that because we've now had several different political races where the people have actually defeated big money. With Jason Chaffetz, we did that, outspent 5 or 6 to 1. That's somewhat of a miracle. Those things don't happen very often. You saw what happened at the caucuses. That was just people. Bob Bennett spent close to $2 million. He lost in a primary to the people of Utah. Just what happened this week, the thing with Morgan Philpott. Well, you look at that and say that was a defeat. That wasn't really a defeat. If you want to dig down and look at what happened there, that was a major, major deal. Bigger, maybe as big as the Bob Bennett thing, only it didn't quite cross over the finish line. Just before Governor Huntsman left, where he had the highest public approval rating, he was up close to 90%, which is absolutely amazing. Well, right down below him was Jim Matheson, somewhere in the 80s. Everybody loved this guy. They were fooled, of course, by him, but they thought they loved him. And for him to suddenly, in an election, be down close to 50% is pretty darn amazing. Probably seems like 30%. And that was all done by people because there was no money. Bill Clinton campaign, there were people pulling money out of their pockets and buying steaks at Home Depot. There were people buying ads. There were people all over the state that sacrificed their own personal money to make that happen. We know we can do it. And there are people that are afraid will continue to do it. For whatever reason they're afraid of us, I don't know. Because for the most part, Tea Party people, this is what I've learned, is that for the most part, Tea Party people are just real Republicans. We're just people that care about the same ideals that are embodied in the Republican platform, straight down the line. I have not been associated with one person in the Tea Party movement that I would consider an extremist. Every one of our candidates that we've put up have been at times called extremists for their views. And some of the views that they're called extremists about are things that, are things that everyone complains about, says we need to fix that in Washington. Well, they say, yeah, we do need to fix that, and so then the media calls them an extremist. As far as the Tea Party thing on what the Tea Party is and is not, it is an organic group of people. It's just regular folks. Somebody wrote a book called Tea Party that was just people who are Tea Party organizers from all over the country and people participating in Tea Party, just talking about who they are and what they do. And you know what? It's just a cross-section of normal middle-class people of America. There's not a radical among them. You read through it and you go, man, this is me. There is no leadership of the Utah Tea Party movement. There's no formal organization of the Utah Tea Party movement. It's just simply people. There are a few people that kind of are the movers and shakers that help out and organize some of these things, but organizing a Tea Party is just scheduling a place, getting a few speakers, and publishing something. So it doesn't take a whole lot. And just about all of them are active, dedicated Republicans. I know there's a few that say this is a non-partisan kind of thing, but I have, in all the groups I've been with, I haven't had anyone that claims to be a Democrat, although I know there's a couple of groups that say they've got some Democrats. Whether we like it or not, the Democrats really don't believe the same things that we believe. With that said, what does it say about Republicans and Tea Party people? It says the Tea Party people, for the most part here in Utah, are Republicans that care, to recognize that there were candidates in there who have the same ideals that we do, and we were trying to get them elected into office. So there are a score of candidates that are now currently holding public office in Utah that we as Tea Party folks consider our candidates. We're kind of at a crossroads right now. This election was kind of something that we pointed to and we hit that, and now we have to decide where to go from here. I looked at what happened at the election the other day as just an amazing thing for us. To me, the most important aspect that we need to be working on is to get governance back to Utah and to start controlling our own affairs. And so I think most Tea Party people are very much aware that states' rights is probably our #1 issue. We have to get our land back from the federal government. If we had all of our land back, or part of our land back, but at least the revenue-producing part, we could literally fund our entire public school system without taxing people. The Republican precincts caucus system is the perfect system for the people to have maximum power. And we can organize there. I mean, there are 2,000 precincts in the state. If we had 2,000 precinct chairs that were active, people that gave a crap about the world, that really did what they were supposed to do, they need to identify that person, because if we get 2,000 of them around the state working their own neighborhoods, we've got an army that no one can stop. These big rallies, big gung-ho rallies with signs, they're fun sometimes, and it's fun to be able to yell and scream, but the Tea Party movement here in Utah has gone past that. We're now to the point where we need to actively be doing things, and primarily do them locally within precincts. We've now got a bunch of candidates in place all over the place. Salt Lake County, we have five Senate chairs that are Tea Party people. We have people that are conservative, that believe the way we do, that aren't going to do the kinds of things that we have complained about in the past about Republicans not walking the talk.